in order to record. Okay.
Okay, I see now.
I want to welcome once again everyone to Living Well. I am so glad that you took the opportunity to come and join us. And I am excited about our presentation for today. Before we start, I just want to state a brief disclaimer. The presentation that is going to be on today is for educational purposes only. At no time, anyone should take this as advice, as medical advice. If for any reason you might want to change your diet or you might want to do any changes, it's always a good idea to consult with your primary care physician and make sure that whatever you want to do is in accordance with your doctor. The presentations that we do weekly, usually comes from experiences from the presenter. Sometimes we have our information from research that we have done and also from personal experience and biblical background. So today our presenter is going to be Mr. Clarence Brown. Clarence is a good friend of mine, and we go way back from high school. So I'm glad Clarence took the opportunity to come today to share with us. Clarence has a master's degree in psychology. He has been in the business world for years, where he managed large groups of people. And I'm telling you, this gentleman has a vast experience and also personal experience. His life has changed. He was out there in the working hard, and God called him. God has called him to a different plane, a different plan. And he's going to share with you some of that today. And I am just so excited, Clarence, that you took the time out to come and to talk to us. He has his own business now that he helps people with eating better, living a healthy lifestyle, managing stress, and just living a lifestyle that is more productive so that they can serve God and also be healthier. So Clarence, thanks for coming. And I advise everyone to get a pen, paper, and be ready to take notes. And everyone sit back and listen to Clarence Brown. Clarence, welcome to our platform. He has been here several times, but some of you might not know him, but I just want to welcome him back to our platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmeline, and thank you so much for such a nice welcome and introduction. I want to start simply by sharing Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, the word of God. It says, "And behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be meat." I think this is a very familiar passage to most of us on the phone and the line. All right, see that my slides aren't quite cooperating with me, but okay. Just having problems getting my slides smooth. So let me see what's going on here.
Yeah, you might just have to use the arrow button.
Yeah. Let me just get back to share, and here we go. Eden for the best energy return. As I present this topic today, I'm presenting it in the context of natural hygiene, which is the belief that the body is self-healing and self-cleansing. I'm presenting it in the context of the principle of high water content foods. That's the belief that the body is 70% water, and therefore food should reflect the body, that percentage makeup of the body. I'm presenting it in the context of proper food combining. That therefore means that there's a right way to combine foods and there's an incorrect way to do that. Okay, so one of 7 points here. Fruit is the one food that the human species is most biologically adapted to. That comes from Alan Walker in a research presentation that he made back in May 1979 in the New York Times. Fruit has the highest water content of all foods. Fruit is 80 to 90% water. When it is correctly combined, nothing can match its benefits. The life force inherent in fruit is unsurpassed by any other food. All the required vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, amino acids, fatty acids can be found in a variety of fruits. When food is correctly consumed, no other food can match its benefits. Again, let me say it again. When fruit is correctly consumed, no other food can match its benefits. Fruits afford the body the opportunity to cleanse, build up residue, and when the body is cleansed, every body function is enhanced. When we cleanse our body by fruits, every body function is enhanced. Okay, so that's the what related to eating for the best energy return. Next, I want to tell you why fruits yield the best energy return. I'm looking forward to some healthy discussion at the end of the presentation. So kind of make your notes and your thoughts, and where you need some clarification, I'll be happy to do that. Okay, here's why fruits yield the best energy return. First, one thing that's critical, as a tool in weight loss, foods properly can combine is second to none. Therefore, if weight management is one of your concerns, the proper consumption of fruit can be second to no other methods. Digestion, as we know, use more energy than any other body function. I want to say it again, digestion is the function of the body that consumes the most amount of energy. Again, in relative to weight loss.
Sorry, Emmeline, sorry, Brother Clarence, we're not seeing your slides.
Oh, wow. Thank you for letting me know that. Let me fix that. Ready, but just take note. I'll just review them quickly. Fruit is the one food that the human species is most biologically adapted to. Fruit has the highest water content of all foods. Fruits is 80 to 90% water. When correctly combined, no other food can match its benefits. The life force inherent in fruit is surpassed by no other food. All the required minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, amino acids, fatty acids can be found in a variety of fruits, in the right combination of a variety of fruits. When food is correctly consumed, no other food can match its benefits. I'm sorry, that should be when fruits is correctly consumed. No other fruits can match its benefits. And the fact that I said when it's correctly consumed, really inheritance, that means that there is a incorrect way to consume fruits. And we'll talk about that probably separately later on. Fruits are cause the body the opportunity to cleanse, build up residue. And what that mainly means is that when we're not eating properly, we eat foods that the body can't use and it builds up. And as men, we like to talk about you have a lot of junk in your trunk. For men, with a lot of junk in our trunks and our stomach. And for women, you know where we talk about your junk in your trunk. Okay, but fruits can help to clean a lot of that residue. And when that residue is removed from the body, then every function of the body works more effectively. All righty. Okay, I'm just trying to position my screen so I can see the top of it here. I'm not seeing. Okay. Okay, here's why fruits gives the best energy return. Reason number one is fruits required less energy to be digested than any other foods. In fact, fruits actually demands practically no energy to be digested. I think I shared earlier that digestion is one of the most energy consuming things that the body does. And the good thing about fruits is that in digestion, no energy is required. Everything else we consume must be broken down and transformed into glucose, fructose, amino acids, and fatty acids. That's not true of fruits. Other food, again, spend any place from 30 minutes to 4 hours in our stomach if they're properly combined. That is not true for fruits. Fruit does not digest in the stomach. They are pre-digested, which means they pass right through the stomach in about 20 to 30 minutes and into the small intestine where the nutrients and such are observed. Fruit, more than any other food, most perfectly supplies what we need to experience the highest level of health. Fruit is the most perfectly balanced food for supplying the requisites the body needs for essential health. Okay, so I've told you the what about fruits. I've told you why it is the highest energy. We get the highest energy return from fruits. Now I want to tell you about how fruit should be consumed. Fruit should be eaten on an empty stomach. I hope you'll ask me why that is later, and we'll talk about it. But fruit should be eaten on an empty stomach. Fruit should be consumed fresh, whether it be fruits or fruit juice. They should be consumed fresh, not pasteurized, not pre-sweetened, like in fruit cocktail and those kind of things. Orange juice we purchase in a cartoon that has been pasteurized because that kills the enzymes that makes fruit so critical and so wonderful. So again, fruit should be consumed fresh. If you're going to make juice, then make fresh juice with your fruits. And again, good fruits consumed in the morning is a great energy boost. Again, fruit consumed an empty stomach in the morning is a great energy boost. Well, while so many of our cohorts and co-leads in the workplace and different places are reaching for a cup of coffee, some folks are now reaching for Red Bull and different things to get some energy. An apple a day to start the day will be a great way to get that energy boost. It's no wonder that the old people, the old sages said an apple a day keep the doctor away. Now I have a statement from E.G. White that I'm sharing here. She says, "I'm so thankful to God that when Adam lost his Eden home, the Lord did not cut off the supply of fruit." Later on, I'd like to have a discussion just to hear your thoughts as to why E.G. White would make such a statement. She didn't make that statement about any other thing in the garden, but she makes that statement about fruit. I think inherent here, she's saying that fruit is so essential and so critical that it's a blessing that God did not take that away when Adam lost his Eden home. I hope you're following me. So here's my point. The opportunity to have daily access to fresh fruits is an incredible blessing that I think we have long sometimes forgotten. We take for granted the opportunity to have daily access to fresh fruits is an incredible blessing. Now, I don't want you to think that I am not saying that vegetables are not important. Vegetables are important, but in the hierarchy of importance, fruits and then vegetables. Fruits rightly consumed, and then I would say next vegetable. Combined, they're both important, right? But I think that fruits has an edge and vegetables based on what I'm presenting here. Now look at this. We started off by reading Genesis where the Lord says all of the herbs and the trees and so forth should be meat to us, right? My question here is, if we're eating like this, hopefully you can see this hamburger on the screen. Can you see it, Emlyn?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
you
see it. Yeah.
that burger.
Okay, if you can see that burger, then the question is, if we're eating like this, who are we listening to? The Lord already told us how we should eat. And if we eat in this way, I think the essential question is, who are we listening to? Something to ponder. If we're eating like that, who are we listening to? It's interesting to me that in Genesis verse 1 and 29, the Lord tells us how to eat and so forth, right? We get through Exodus, we get through all the historical books, we get through the prophecies, we get through the Gospels, we get through the letters and such, and we get to the end in Revelation. And now God is saying that he will wipe away all tears from our eyes. And I'm wondering if some of those tears are coming because of how we're eating. And I know that for sure. I just lost a son, 35 years old. And I know much of it is because of his eating and the way that he was treating his body. Had a major stroke and never recovered from that. And so that just, again, the Lord is having to wipe away my tears. But the question is, who was he listening to? I taught him how to eat a clean diet, and obviously he turned away from that. And I think it's interesting that the Bible says that rebellion is next to witchcraft. So who are we listening to is the question, right? And if we don't listen to the Lord, then I think he has to wipe away the tears from our eyes and promise us that there will be no more pain. I can only imagine, Emmeline, that it must irk the heart of our God when he sees us treating our bodies the way that we have, the way that the enemy have kind of influenced us. And these commercials and all of that kind of stimulate us to consuming things that God never intended. And then he sees our pains. He sees me losing my 35-year-old son way too young and such, right? And probably others of you who have had losses and such. And I'm by no way proclaiming that if we just ate right, that we wouldn't have any sickness and all of that, right? I just say I'm confident that we'd have less. And I would think that all of us would agree we'd have less, right? Because we know we know people who have eaten clean and have had good so forth. But that's just the sin factor, right? But Satan has almost turbocharged sickness and death by how he's gotten the world eaten. And I'm glad that we have this program because the Lord has given us now the wisdom and knowledge. The only thing, Emmeline, my only thoughts would be is that we have to find a way to exploit the we have to find a way to kind of expedite this to people who don't know what we know, right? Who haven't been given the blessings that we've been to have access to this beautiful message. Hey, that's really the end of my content for the presentation. I think if we want to have some discussion, Emily, I'd be happy to entertain questions and such.
Oh, sure. So I know, we might have some questions. I did see some questions in the chat, or I guess quite a few people extended their condolences
Oh, thank you.
in
Thank
the
you.
loss of your son.
Thank you.
Someone wrote about they're doing intermittently fast daily, 12 to 26 hours in between meals. Depending on how I feel, I break my fast with fresh organic fruits, and
That is excellent.
feel great. Yeah,
That is absolutely excellent.
right. So, it's just amazing. You brought this to my attention about what Sister White talked about. It was thankful that God did not take away fruits
Yes.
from us when Adam and Eve, went faltered in the Garden of Eden. That God left fruits and vegetable fruits, especially for us. That's amazing. I did not realize how important fruits are. And listening to you, I realized that fruits are very important because our bodies are 70% water. And with that, if our bodies are 70% water, we need to keep replenishing, the water content of our body in order for us to stay, healthy. Because our cells, our cells need this water. Don't have enough water, your cells going to get sticky and clumpy, and you can start clumping together. And when cells clump together, it can cause blockage. Your blood, it thickens. Your blood is thickened when you don't have enough water to keep it fluid. It's not flowing properly. It will slow down, and again, there you go. Once blood slow down from flowing, it can cause blood clots. So important. It's so very important. So God saw fit to leave fruits as part of our diet. So why do you think? So do you have any reasons? Do you have any other reasons to think why God left fruits as one of our food for our diet daily consumption?
Because he loves us. Yes, he loves us. I want to kind of piggyback on something you kind of indicated too. It's interesting that when Adam and Eve sinned, and the Lord went looking for them, and they said we were naked, and we were hiding because we were naked. The Lord said, "Who told you that you were naked?" And that's why I came up with the question: if we're eating unlike how the Lord has told us to eat, then who are we listening to? Who told us to eat like that? I mean, the Western world gave us this pyramid. In fact, they used to say milk does the body good and all of that, right? Gave us this pyramid saying that we should eat in the pyramid way, but that's not necessarily what the Lord gave us.
Yes, that's
In
true.
fact, we learned that in school. So it's amazing how even how the enemy just kind of early on try to start indoctrinating kids and stuff, right?
Yes.
Any other thoughts as to why the Lord allowed us to continue to have access to fruits? Yvette, what are your thoughts if you're able to unmute? Oh, Alicia?
Sorry. Oh, okay. Or Alicia, she can go first and you can come back to us.
Alicia, you got the floor if you're. Oh, no, Yvette, you go ahead. You're ready to mute and we can hear you.
I think Stan was going to share and then I'll share. Go ahead.
Okay, Stan. Okay, go right ahead.
Excellent presentation there, Brother Brown. I appreciate the information.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think God gave us the fruit after they had sinned because he still knew what was best for our bodies. He always gives us the best. no matter what the circumstances or situation. So I believe that is why. And then I had a question for you related to what is your natural consumption of food, say daily, fruit, say daily and then weekly, overall, so to speak.
Well, currently what I do is I do nothing but fruits before 12. I have my first meal at 12, but nothing but fruits up until 12. And then at 12, I may have a salad along with I'm in the islands right now, maybe some green bananas and such, right? So basically I'm pretty much vegetarian, I would say vegan. And it's easy to do it when you're here in the Caribbean with all this fresh fruits. Only thing I might regret is that we don't have any soursop right now. I wish could get my hand in a soursop. I hope I answered your question. Did I answer that question?
Yes, you did. And another quick question related to green bananas, because I've never really liked green bananas. What is the advantage of green bananas over yellow bananas? I love yellow bananas. I eat two of them a day, but what is the advantage of green bananas over yellow bananas?
Well, maybe a slight nuance is ripe banana takes about 45 minutes to be digested. Ripe bananas, dates, and dry fruits take longer than natural fruits. Green banana, I think, is a good, very nutritious, high, and has some iron and so forth. We don't need as much as men, but for women, it's a great source of iron, particularly if you have any issues with your iron level and such. It's just really a good healthy because it's more easily digested as by the body.
Yeah. So Stan, we cook those green bananas. We don't eat them raw. So so in the islands, part of our staple diet, we do a lot of root vegetables as part of our diet. And one of the things we also do are bananas, plantain. So we cook those. Once they're green, they have to be cooked before they're consumed.
Emmeline,
Yes.
it is said that it's best to cook the green bananas in the skin because in the skin is where the iron is. So when you cook them in the skin, the iron will leach into the banana than to peel them and cook them like that.
That's how I noticed it. That's how I noticed they cook them here in the island here. That's how my mom cooks her green banana in the
Yeah,
skin.
we always cook them with the skin on. Yeah. So I guess that's a good to know why we do it. It's because the nutrients are right below the skin. Okay, good. Thank you, Josephine. Yeah. So you guys, you can try eating green bananas. If you go to a West Indian store, you will see they have green bananas for sale. And just try and get a nice green. Don't try to get them when it starts turning yellow. They need to be hard green bananas and boil them. And its leaves are like a stain on your pot, but you can easily wash that off. But you can use it. I take it sometimes and mash it like mashed potato and put some onions and what do you call it? Green olives. I learned that dish when I was in Puerto Rico. They call it mango. And eat it, in the place of mashed potatoes. You can do that. Very good, nutritious, healthy form of mashed potato.
Clarence, thank you very much for a very important presentation. I just want to alert you that there's a question in the chat.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Emmeline, I can't quite see that. Emmeline,
Okay. What should be the latest time we eat at night?
Well, Emmeline, I'd love to come back and talk to this group about the body cycles because there are 3 cycles. Appropriation, the time that we should be eating, and that appropriation cycle is between 12 and 8. I would say 12 and no later than 8. I would say probably 6 or 7 is better than 8. But definitely no eating after 8, right? Because you then interrupt the next cycle, which is the assimilation cycle. That's when the body is using the foods that was consumed. So I would say again, the person who said that they were doing the intermittent fasting, that is great. I would call that a stomach emptying. Eating when giving your chance, your stomach a chance to be emptied. And
And
eating.
again, yeah, the other question, should you eat fruits at night?
Well, think about what I've just said about the energy that fruits produces, right? And the boost. At night, hopefully you're getting ready to go to bed. You don't really need a boost necessarily, right? Again, if it's before 8, it's okay, but I wouldn't eat it right before bed, right? So it can be at night, but again, it's the purpose of it is one of the things it does is kind of give a burst of energy. If you're working at night and you're doing things and that kind of stuff, you need a boost. I see we have an author. If you're writing at night and you need a boost to kind of write that next chapter or the next set of paragraphs, maybe an apple will be okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, whatever God made for us to eat is always good. Fruits does have protein. There are some fruits that are high in protein, like avocado. You know, uh, I was looking up what fruits, has protein, because we do not look at fruits to have protein. They might not have as much protein as nuts and beans, but they do have some proteins in there. God made the fruit with all the nutritional value, protein, carbohydrates, fat. Some foods have fat, some don't. But he made fruits with all of that so that we can consume it.
Yeah,
And
I want to kind of build upon that. I talked about how fruits have fatty acids. When you think about which fruits you think have fatty acids, I'm just asking a general question. If we can get some fat from food, which fruits do you think that would come from?
I would sure say avocado, because
Yeah,
avocado
Exactly,
is one of.
exactly, precisely.
Mhm.
Now, I want to talk about protein a little bit because protein is so misunderstood. Emily, I wish I can come back and talk to the group about protein. Because usually we think that when we're eating a piece of fish that that's our protein. Technically, the human body can't use protein. What the human body does is gather these amino acids, and the amino acids build protein that the human body can use. So a lot of folks were eating the chicken and all that stuff, thinking that they're eating it for protein. Really, the chicken got its protein from the bush and things, depending if they're in the island and they're picking around, picking up the weeds and stuff like that, right? So really how we get again, the contribution for protein from the fruits and vegetables is that beans, for example, has amino acids, and if you get the right combination of beans, then you may get all 8 essential amino acids to make protein. But green leafy vegetables such as kale and so forth also have those amino acids, and the fruits has the amino acids as well. So what I'm really doing is debunking the fact that we think we get in protein when we eat in a piece of meat. We get in amino acids that the body uses, and some of the stuff in the meats the body can't really use and just becomes residue that builds up in other parts in your body. Starts showing up, and you start showing up. You see that you have now um, a second chin and things like that, right? That's we think it's just fat, but sometimes it's the residue that the body can use from. This is a more complicated discussion, but I'd love to come back and talk to the group about protein,
Okay.
proper protein consumption, and just proper food combination and such, right?
But because if we look at it, you talk about the chickens, and if we look at it, for example, we eat meat, beef, for example, people say they eat beef for protein, but cows do not eat meat, but we eat their flesh for proteins. What cows eat? Grass. God made cows to eat grass. I know today they feed cows, beans and soya beans and corn and all of that, but it's not healthy for the cows, because when you give the cows that type of food, the cows, they form fat in between the tissue. Because if you take a cow that was fed corn and soya, and compare that to a cow that just ate grass, that marbling in the meat, you do not see it in a cow that just ate grass. That cow doesn't have that layer of fat in between tissue as a cow that ate the corn and the soya, example, for food. So the cow just ate grass, and that cow is now producing protein. So we do that myth of we have to eat meat for protein is so debunked when we look at animals. Look at an elephant. Elephant is vegetarian. It does not eat meat. And look at how strong, and that's, an elephant weighs tons. And the elephant is healthy. So why an elephant could be eating grass and herbs and still stay healthy, and why we have to eat meat. So we do not have to eat meat. Really, we do not. We can get our protein from just the fruits and vegetables and nuts and grains that God said in Genesis 1:29 that we need to eat to keep us healthy.
And Melinda, that brings me back to the question, who are we listening to relative to the fact that we think we need to eat these meat products? In fact, the strongest animal is a gorilla, and gorillas are what
Vegetarian.
they eat fruit. They're frutivores, pretty much. And they're the strongest. They could pretty take a 200-pound man and throw him across the road like a fish, like a frisbee. That's how strong they are, and they don't touch any meat or anything like that, right? But somebody told us that we need meat to be strong. I don't know who told us that, but it wasn't our Lord who told us that.
Yeah.
Could I add that, as the presenter said, fruits, they are filled with vitamins and minerals. And if we eat our adequate amount of fruits daily, we won't have to resort to taking this over-the-counter vitamins, because we can get our vitamins and minerals from our food, because they're needed in such small quantities that eating a variety of fruits daily, we can comfortably get all these vitamins and minerals from them. So eating fruits has its advantages.
I want to support that. Hippocrates, who was said to be the father of medicine, said, "Let your food be your medicine, and let your medicine be your food." And that's common sense. That's a lot of common sense right there. Let your food be your medicine, and your medicine your food.
Yeah. Thank you, Josephine, for that input. And Josephine is our a dietitian, a registered dietitian.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yes, so she knows what she's talking about. Mr. Brown, you said that we should eat fruits on an empty stomach. So why is that so important to eat fruits on an empty stomach?
Now, let me address that real quickly. Let's just say that we've eaten. Let me just use the analogy here. Let's say in the islands, people would take up an avocado, slice it, put it in a loaf of bread, and have bread and the avocado. What happens? The avocado doesn't need the avocado doesn't need the digested time. And when you combine a food that doesn't need to be digested with one that needs to be, then it's in the stomach longer, and it starts to ferment. And that fermentation then begins to build up alcohol in the body. And over time, enough alcohol building up in the body causes the liver to have issues. Because people who drink a lot of alcohol have liver issues. I forget what's the disease that people get?
Cirrhosis of the liver.
So next thing you're beginning to get cirrhosis if you have this habit of eating fruits and eating foods improperly combined. It's really a food combination thing. The fruit doesn't need to be slowed down by eat something else, right? And so if you just, for example, had a meal of, let's say you just had a good meal of what's a good example? I want to do something good. If you say you sat down and you had
all of watermelon, blueberries, and strawberries.
Yeah, if you just had a meal, right? And you just finished eating your meal, starches and all that stuff, and now you decide, okay, I want to have watermelon as a dessert or something like that. Then while that other food that you ate with the starches, let's just say rice and beans and so forth. While that is taking longer, about hours to digest, the food really is ready to go through in 20 to 30 minutes. And the fact that it's now being held up, it then begins to ferment in your stomach. And next thing you know, you're saying, like, I have acid indigestion. Acid indigestion. Oh, there comes the Rolaids and Thumbs and such, right? And next thing you have heartburn. And you say, I don't know, every time I eat fruit, I get heartburn. It's not the fruit, it's the combination that is causing the heartburn or the indigestion and such.
Yeah. So you're saying that when we should eat fruits, I understand, first thing in the morning. So should we wait in between? Or that should be the first thing, and then if we follow it with um carbohydrates or
Well,
something else.
I guess the key is that you want to give the fruits 20 to 30 minutes and eat nothing else after you've eaten the fruits, and give 20 to 30 minutes for the fruit to pass through your system.
Okay. Okay. So you
So it's
need
just
to
now
wait.
a timing issue, right?
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. I understand that. Yes. Um, so how much fruits should you eat daily? I I guess Josephine was talking about we need to eat adequate amount of fruits in, daily in order to get the mineral and all of that in our diet. So,
I'm gonna answer that more broadly. What the research shows is that for prevention of cancer, or I would even say for the management of cancer and such, 5 to 8 servings of fruit and vegetables a day have been shown to be effective at fighting off cancer. And we're all living in the world with all these environmental hazards and such like that. So even if we don't have it, we should always be trying to eat in a way to be fighting it off, right? I would say 5 to 8 serving of fruits and vegetables, but mostly vegetables. So that because of the sugar in fruit is not bad, right? But I'd say I don't want you eating 5 to 8 servings of fruits a day necessarily, right? But 5 to 8 servings of fruit and vegetable combined to get what we just told about that good vitamin boost and so forth.
In most cases, a serving depends on the fruit. Some is a third cup, some is a half a cup, or the size of the banana. Sometimes if I eat a banana and it is big, I will cut it in 2 or 3 because it's high sugar.
Exactly.
So you have to do some research and read and find out the serving sizes for these things, especially if you have sugar issues or diabetic. It is good to know the serving sizes. It's for your benefit.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because what the nutritionists often tell people to do is to combine nuts and stuff with their fruits.
Yes.
That has makes sense for the diabetic reason, but it doesn't make sense for the fruit combination things.
Okay.
Because now the fruit is going to stay in your stomach longer because the nuts requires a longer time to. So again, I think the ideal is to just try to do fruits by themselves and in moderation, everything in moderation. If you're diabetic and you have those issues, then I would say I would stay with the berries, the blueberries and such, right?
Yeah, the berries, yeah.
Berries have so many benefits because of the antioxidant values and such. All right, did I miss any questions that in the chat?
No, I do not see. Let me just check again. Make
I
sure.
have another question. Is it best to always try and buy organic fruit?
Well, first of all, I think it's good to buy them, right? Now, for example, in a lot of areas, like in my area, there's a local farm that I can go to. There's never a traffic jam at that local farm, because everybody's going to the major supermarkets and such. So I think it's good to scout out and see where, if you're in your areas, if you have access to a local producer where you can buy. And you can get good fruits there. It doesn't have to be organic, right? But because it's very close to being organic. By the time it gets to the supermarket and they they put the tag organic in it, they also put the price up. So I say buy local, unique local, if where you can. And the fact, if you're in Florida, a lot of producers grown in Florida. And if you find a farmer that you trust, and that's, if you make your weekly or monthly visit to that farm and buy your produce, I think that makes a lot of sense, and you're not having to pay the escalated price that we pay when they put the tag in and say organic.
Yeah,
Stan, I hope I
that's,
answered. I hope I answered that.
mhm. Yeah, that's a
Yes,
good,
thank you.
yeah. Dan, did he answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Another thing, I like buying organic, but not everything I buy organic because, for example, there's a list they call the dirty dozen. And these are fruits and vegetables that you're encouraged to buy organic because of the nature of the fruit or vegetable, because they have a thinner skin. When they're sprayed with these pesticides, it's absorbed into the fruit and you eat it. So it's best to buy, like, for example, strawberries, blueberries, peaches, to name a few. These are fruits I do not ever buy that, non-organic. They must be organic.
That is
Because
absolutely correct, Emily.
yeah, because I have tasted, I've been accustomed buying, for example, buying cherries, for example, organic cherries. I do not buy cherries unless they're organic. And I had some cherries that I did not realize they were not organic. When I ate those cherries, it tasted so different. It tasted like I was eating chemicals. And when I looked into it, it was non-organic cherries. So after eating cherries that were organic for all this time, and then I just accidentally ate these cherries that were not organic, I was able to tell the difference. So there's a difference. If you can purchase your foods, your fruits, go online, you can just look up the 12 dirty dozen, what fruits and vegetables I should buy organic. Try and buy those organic. And the other stuff you can buy it non-organic because the chances of the pesticides entering into the food is not as great. And as Mr. Brown said, buying from the farmer market, going to your local market, because these farmers, they normally don't do all the spraying and pesticides like the commercial farmers do. Know your farmer. You can go to, if they allow you to come onto the farm, you can see exactly what they're doing and what process they use in planting and producing their produce. So we just have to be wise consumers. There was a question, and this will be our last questions. I have been told you should drink 8 ounces of water before eating anything. So should I drink my water before eating an apple?
I don't know that I've really seen that particular thing. If that's a strategy to help you to get more water in, I would say that you could separate that strategy from, because you can drink water without having to eat, right? You can separate it from eating because the water kind of has to be absorbed before the body can adequately digest the food. So I would think that trying to separate those two things are better, right? Drink your water. Have a method of getting in your water, right? And there's so much time in the day to get the water in that you don't have to really try to couple it. It's best to decouple it from eating because the water again has to be absorbed before the body can do it. And that just kind of creates more creates more work for the digestive system because then it has to keep producing more digestive juices to try to absorb the food because of the water.
Emily,
Yes.
okay, what I was trying to ask, I have been told to drink the water first thing in the morning to activate the digestive system.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to ask, is it going to make a difference if I eat the apple in the morning? Does it help activate the digestive system the same as drinking the water before eating anything?
Well, the purpose of what I said about eating apple in the morning was just because the stomach is empty at that time. And so I think the answer is inherent implied here, right? That we're really trying to get the apple in or the fruits in on an empty stomach. And I think there's also a belief that if you have a warm glass of water, sometimes with lemon in the morning, that it gets your bowels and stuff moving. So they're kind of two different things. And maybe just kind of straddling that so that, okay, you get your water down and then, maybe you go with your apple, but it's so easy to kind of be doing both together, right? Which then neutralize the digestive juices.
Okay, so if I choose to do the water before the apple, how
Mhm.
long should I wait before eating the apple after drinking the water?
I probably would do the same thing, 10, 20 minutes or so forth. I think it's not going to take the water that much to go through, right? Yeah, particularly if it's just plain water.
Yeah,
Okay, all
yeah,
right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
yeah. That's a good, that's first thing in the morning what I do drink my water, and before I eat anything, I usually drink about 4 glasses of water before eating. So we need that water to help cleanse and flush things out. So
Exactly.
thank you, Mr. Brown, for coming on a platform and sharing your knowledge about, what's best, for our digestive system. You said, I like the topic about, what is best for, it talks about, when I hear the topic, it reminds me of ROI. What's the best ROI?
Exactly.
You know, best way to, return on our food, return on our investment. Because when you have a good investment, first of all, before you do an investment, you always look for, where should I put my money to give me a better return, the best return. It's the same thing. What foods should I eat that would give me the best return, that will make me healthy, that will give me good health, keep my body healthy, help me stay stronger, and so I can, have more energy and all of that. So just think about it that way. Always put the best, the best foot forward. Eat fruits first thing in the morning. You can drink your water, but it's best not to eat and drink at the same time. You drink your water first, wake up, 10, 15 minutes before eating. Then you eat your fruits. Make sure you wait another 30 minutes or so before consuming something else, because fruit needs to be digested first, because it does not take as long to digest fruits as it does something like carbohydrates, your bread or your nuts. So it's best to eat fruit separately and then eat your food. So thank you for that information, Mr. Brown, and we will
And
invite you back so you can share some more knowledge.
thank you. I just want to jump in and say something real quickly. What you just outlined really, to me, kind of crowds out spaces for the bad stuff to get in. When you're conscious about your water and you're conscious, but when you get your fruit in, and you're conscious and all about all that stuff, you're not grabbing at chips and crackers and things that may not be as beneficial, right? Because you're so busy just getting the right stuff in. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
I want to say
Okay,
one other
go ahead.
quick.
Is there something, yeah, do you have your last word? You can go ahead.
Well, if we have anybody in this call who is a health and temperance leader and all of that, a good health and temperance thing to do is to go find the local farmers, the local places where you can get good fruits at a good price, and kind of let your church member knows that, because sometimes people aren't taking time to think about those things, right? But would be a great service. Or if you go there and you buy a big bushel of apple, and if you have a school, and just take those fresh apples to the school, and let the kids get a taste of those nice kind of fresh organic apples versus buying chips and stuff for lunch. That'd be a great service.
Okay,
Emily, I think I'm done with all my formal remarks and thoughts unless there's a
okay,
question.
okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to pause our recording